There he
All
is.
right, what's up, everybody? We're back with play-by-play.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I don't know if you've noticed, Nick, but I'm in a different setting again.
Every week, which restaurant are we in this time? I know we were at
I,
Denny's last week.
I'm in Walk-Ons in right outside of Houston, Texas.
Really? Very cool. I was in San Antonio. I just flew back this morning. Yeah.
Yep, we're driving in. We got a training that we're headed into to speak at. It's for Sparrowhawk Aviation, so we're going to go up there and talk to them about the $1 Million Detail Shop, and we're going to talk to them about detail booking and all kind of cool stuff. So
Look at that.
Traveling around, doing the deal.
Good stuff. I'm excited. We got a good show this week.
Yeah, we do, man. It's a lot to talk about, and it's this thing's really getting good. We're able to dive deep. So something that we've changed a little bit is sticking to one topic through the show and then kind of diving into it. And I think just due to the response that we've heard back, the detailers are really loving that because they're also they're able to say, okay, I'm interested in this topic, and we really kind of tell them our experiences, tell them our thoughts, and actually get some stuff out of it.
Yeah, it's just real world. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, what are we doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if someone's trying to grow their business or whatever they're able to have, a good resource here and hopefully we can help a couple people out.
And the funny, it's not like, hey, we always do it right. It's like, listen, I'm going to tell you the things I do wrong too. Like, I want you to learn from my pain so you don't have to experience. So, it's a cool dynamic. I really appreciate you and coming in here and helping me out with this thing, doing this together. I think it's been fun.
Yeah, back at you. Nothing but an honor.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, look, what do you say we dive right into our topic?
Let's go ahead. Let's do it.
Uh-oh. Are we getting, what is that?
We got something going. We got a fire. Is that a fire over there?
Was that a fire alarm? Okay. All right. Let's go. What's up with the fire alarm?
I think we got a couple fires that we put out this week, right?
Yeah, we do. It's a cool little segment. So we're going to talk about fires that we put out first. Because I'm thinking that it's cool for you guys to hear some of the tough things that we go through as a business owner, and you may can relate to it, or you may can learn how to maybe deal with it as you experience it. So you want to lead the way with your fire? You want me to start?
I just put mine out. I don't want to bring it back. No. But we had some crazy rains over here. This is just real. We rent out our building, so that landlord, leasee relationship is really important. And we had a leak. We had a leak on our roof. And the number one thing that hopefully someone takes away from this is anytime you got a flat roof on a building and you're doing a lease, you make sure you put the landlord in responsible for it. Now, saying that, we've got a really good guy. We signed 50-year leases. We get locked into a really good, we don't mess around.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a leak, and there was a little damage cleanup. Like that's a whole day in itself when you've got something going on like that.
It's a fire. It's a fire. You don't predict these things. This comes out of nowhere. It's unexpected expense. It's something you have to deal with because who else are you going to put on that? Like that's a you may hire the roofer, but you got to solve the problem.
Now the one thing I'm going to point out is like, hey, how did I put that fire out? You know what I mean? So now you over communicate with the landlord. You're like, look, we're not going anywhere. And he got a couple quotes and we're getting a new roof. You know what I mean? Not just it's just trying to make sure the people you're working with, right, are going to have your back too. You know what I mean? Because of course there's plenty of bad situations out there where landlord puts it off, doesn't take care of it. So I got to give props to my guy. He brought someone out right away, and he's like, look, Nick, we're just going to replace the whole thing because he knows the value of us being here. So that was one fire.
He takes care of you guys. That's just one. He takes care of you. Take care of him. He takes care of you. It's a win-win situation, and that's the way business relationships really need to happen. So fires this week, always have, I don't know. I guess I'm so used to putting them out. Sometimes they don't seem like fires. It just seems like normal workflow, like to solve the problems. But we had one this week where we damaged a customer's boat. We were simple thing. The motor was down, and we hooked them with our forklift. And we usually have two people, one person at the back and one person driving the forklift. Well, Tabitha, one of our detailers, was moving the boat without a spotter, and the motor was down. And so when she drug it drug the skag off the bottom of the foot, just a little piece, right? And so like everybody's in full panic. What do we do? We've damaged the customer's boat. It seems like a big deal. And it's just cast aluminum. So we go in there and put some back, file it down, and repaint it, touch it up, and it looks great. Customer's happy. But again, like that's a problem. And if it was out of our wheelhouse to fix, of course we call the customer and we call and get it set up to fix, then call the customer and let them know what's happened. But in this case, it's a simple solution on our part. But it's not about what happens; it's about how you handle it. And then
I think that's a great way to put it.
One thing that I think you should do, as if you're there, a business owner, and you have employees, is to teach your employees not to be scared to tell you when something's damaged. And so like, you don't want to freak out when something like that happens, right? You want to give them confidence to tell you, say, hey, here's what happened. How do we fix it? Because if you freak out, then they don't tell you, and then all of a sudden the customer finds it, and that's a big problem. It looks like you're trying to hide things, and so.
Even when there's no malintent, you know what I mean? That's the thing absolutely. Where like you build that trust with your employees, and you just want them to know that you've got their back. You know what I mean? It goes employee, customer, and then the car there, just making sure that they're, the funny, what's the number one thing that we've got is like, those C's on like a 4MATIC Mercedes.
Oh yeah.
If you're washing and one of those guys falls off, I used to, you know what I mean? Like, you either put it back on. I just tell them, listen, go take care of it. Make sure you're happy with the work, whatever. I'll give you a gift card. And like, that fire is put out before there's even smoke.
Oh, you solve the problem before there's a problem.
And then you start teaching firefighters, right? Now my guys, they're like, for those little things, you don't even have to get me. Just know that I got your back. Make sure the customer's happy.
Handle it. That's right. Handle it. And that's exactly right. And it takes a little while to get there, but things come up. So guys, as you're going through your day and things are happening, you're not the only one solving problems and fighting these fights, guys. That's as a business owner, you're a firefighter. Nick, you've pretty much coined that phrase, and it's the truth, right? And so like when I say like, oh man, I literally had to think about like, what fires did we put out? I probably put out 1,000 fires that to most people would be a big deal, but now it's like it's just been part of my day, and we just roll through them,
But what's funny is when you see a fire for the first time, right? Like you damaged, right?
Yep.
And you haven't been through that, and you don't know how to put it out. You know what I mean? Which everyone's going to experience different things at different times.
Absolutely.
Having we're going to talk about it. We're going to go through some real life stuff that we're saying, hey, we put it out 1,000 times. But, when it happens to whoever's, for the first time, that's something that hopefully we can let you know, hey, it's going to be okay. It's about how you handle it, and that's what you're training yourself what to do.
I always say it's not what happens, it's how you handle it after. And it can make pretty much anything better. Guys, if you have any fires that you put out that y'all want us to comment on or talk about, drop it in the comments and we'll try to add it to it.
I hope nobody had any fires. I hope let's hope everyone had a great week.
Me too, man. Me too. I hope it was happy detailing for all. And we had a great week. I mean, we've been busy, but we did solve that little problem. But look, we have an awesome topic today. If anybody comes in with a fire, we'll try to drop back in and mention it. But so we got an awesome topic today. And I want to talk about tech support and how it has how it can help your business. But you're probably thinking tech support like phone call in, blah blah blah. I'm not talking about that kind of tech support. I'm talking about technology and how it's supported in your business, how it's helped you grow your business. Technology, guys, is changing the way that we do business, and it plays a big role in growing a business. And so that's our topic for the day. I'm excited to talk about it. Obviously, I kind of a little partial to this topic because we may have built.
Why, Dustin?
We may have a piece of technology that's impacting our industry. Yeah,
I think I probably will agree with you there, but we'll see where the pushback is. The one point I want to make before we even jump into it.
Go ahead.
Before the technology, it's like Stone Age, right?
Yeah.
I'm just speaking from my experience. We've started with pen and paper, taking down details. I mean, cash register. I'm talking like old school cash register.
Me too.
So understanding like, hey, we've done that. It works great. But let the technology help you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think that's going to be hopefully the biggest takeaway from today is like, again, that cost versus gain, right? What does it cost? What are you gaining from it as we explore a couple different things that we're going to jump into?
Yeah. And again, so we're going to talk about things that you probably don't even think of as technology, right? And you may use them and not even realize that there was a time before that. Like, so you may be taking advantage of technology and not even understand it. But we also want to bring up, talk about this as technology when it's right for you. So if you're doing things manually because it makes sense at the moment, then that may be fine. But when we talk about cost analysis, and we need to talk about when it's right for you. So let's jump in talking about technology. Nick, what is one piece of technology that if you had to give up everything else that's and stick with this one thing, what would that piece be?
The big umbrella is going to be software. It really is diving in and testing out different softwares and different aspects of your business. The one that, of course, we're both going to be a little partial to is Detail Bookie there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Detail Bookie and that type of scheduling software that's made by detailers for detailers has been able to transform our business the last 2 years. You know what I mean? From taking those appointments, pen and paper, to now having that extra communication with customers. That's like one side of it where it's been phenomenal. But I don't want to just talk Detail Bookie. The other side of it is like the point of sale, right? I brought up that cash box, that old school cash box, and it's like, and are you there like notating all your stuff and your daily reports and trying to make everything all organized? Putting the right point of sale system in place for your business, I would say is 1A and 1B there. You know what I mean? Though that's a two-headed monster that's going to help a lot of businesses when you get to the side.
It is. And guys, we didn't want this to turn into this podcast was not designed to be like a 30-minute infomercial on how great Detail Bookie is, because I believe that we could do that and we would do that just fine. But guys, so software in general, when we talk about scheduling software, like you said, is huge. I want to talk about, you mentioned the cash register versus a POS. So something that's tracking your income. And like when you think about a cash register and ringing up, or you're thinking about like the guys now maybe taking payments through Cash App or Venmo, they don't have the reporting that a software that tracks your income will have to look back and see where you were last week or last month or last year. And comparing yourself to numbers, that's how you establish trends. That's how you establish, am I doing better than I was last year?
You've got those binoculars and you're only seeing part of the picture, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have all those tools at your disposal, you can pick and choose which ones you like to use, but you don't get that full picture of
the
your
bird's
business.
eye view. The bird's eye view.
Yeah.
And that's what you're looking for when you're a business owner. Like you take and look at things from a bird's eye view, and then when you need to zone in, you can. But if you're so in the rabbit hole, this is one thing I learned from my dad is when I brought him onto our team 4 or 5 years ago. He said, Dustin, you hire me so I can go down the rabbit hole and focus on things so you can take a step back and get a bird's eye view. Because if you're in the tunnel, if you're in this, you can't see what's going on. And it's really hard to make big decisions, like trajectory decisions. If you're down in the rabbit hole worried about, what's wrong with the polisher, and so that's it. So software allows you to do that bird's eye view very easily, because now you can see your numbers as a whole.
Yeah. And the interesting part for software, at least for us, we make a list of what we need before we even start looking, right? And deciding, hey, I'm not going to give up anything on this list, right? We're a hand car wash. We're a detail center, PPF. We do a bunch of crazy stuff now.
Yeah.
But I needed something that would help with communication too. I got guys, 120-foot tunnel guys in the lane. They need to know what the washes are, right? I need guys knowing what the details are.
Yeah.
The second that they get checked out, can I make my business more efficient? And there wasn't any options out there. So you know what I mean? So deciding which software company wants to work with us is part of it. Don't sacrifice just because of a brand or this or that.
No.
Figure out exactly what you need, and don't give in.
Hey, Ethan, put that comment back up from Billy Smith. So this is a buddy of ours, Billy Smith. Cool software. I didn't know my number offhand like I can today. And listen, guys, you don't know how important that is until you have it. Like information, you don't know how much you need information until you have it at your fingertips. And then it's power.
Yeah.
It's power. So, and like you said, look, we recommend at Detail Bookie that you try the other softwares. There's a few good ones out there, and we recommend that you try them and really understand what fits you the best. So we're not for every detailer. There's certain detail shops and operations that may want your able or may benefit from some of the features that we do differently, or same way with RoadFS or Mobile Tech.
Yep.
Right. But we're quick to establish that, and we're quick to say, hey, if you're a shop that need some of these other things, or we do things a little differently, then we're going to suggest that to you. But having a software in place to manage your business is crucial. That is what you picked. I'm going software in a different direction, right?
Okay.
I'm kind
Okay.
of partial to detail bookie, of course, but my key piece of software. Okay, so I would definitely keep detail bookie because I'm slightly invested. But my
Yeah.
second piece would be QuickBooks, my accounting
Uh-huh.
piece.
I use QuickBooks as well, but yeah.
Yeah, so my QuickBooks Online, I've had the desktop versions, you know, and let me tell you, so I'm a fanatic over my numbers.
Yep.
I really focus on running my business from my books, and our books are extremely organized. Chelsea's right off screen here. She's the one that keeps up with a lot of our stuff, daily input, matching transactions and stuff. But she keeps our books pristine, so I can run our P&Ls and I can compare them to last month, last year, and that helps me know my expenses and my overhead, and that lets me know how my company's truly doing by the tool by the measurement that we get measured most by, which is the dollar, and if you're profitable, then you have to assume that the company's doing the right thing. And so we use my software,
right?
my books, right? Yeah, I mean, and look, money can cover up things too. Like if you're profitable and you think all is great because that's the only tool that's the only measurement that you use, is you could be putting out really bad work, right? And you're fixing to get a wave of redos that's going to take you out of the profit zone. So you can't just sell out on profits, but if you learn how to manage from your books, or at least have a great understanding of it, I think it helps you really gauge how the company's doing. So my piece of technology. And look, I'm a numbers guy. I can't even imagine doing books by hand. Like I never had to experience that. I do remember helping my granddad on some spreadsheet, like graph paper, when he was building houses and I was building houses. He would by hand estimate down graph paper. But like, then Excel came out, and I was like, I was a wizard in Excel. So, but software, my books, man, QuickBooks is my baby. And I couldn't live without her.
The one thing I would say is, again, we got QuickBooks too, makes your life easier. But I just go back to the old school way, where right, it's you remember what it was like, and then once you get used to it, you're just like, oh my god, I can't go back. But the boxes of receipts, drop them off at your accountant, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not even having books, you know what I mean? Sometimes if you're a one-man shop and you're there detailing, you're doing, you know what I mean? Those books is just what's in the bank account. You know what I mean? And that's okay to a certain extent, but sort of planning on how can I get to the point where I really know my numbers.
We were having this conversation with It's a Long Ride to Houston, and we were talking about. I said, Chelsea, you don't understand how many businesses don't keep up with their books. They wait to the end of the year. They ask their accountant to go out and match all the transactions and get the taxes paid, and that's very normal. Okay, like a lot of people
I don't want to
look at their
people feel like I don't want to feel like, hey, you have to use QuickBooks.
No, it's very normal for your books to only be used for tax time. Here's what but my thing is I want to know where my money's going as much as coming. If you're not managing, if you don't see it as a whole, you don't really understand. Now, it's not when you're owner operator, if you're doing everything, you understand where the money's going because you're writing the check, you're making the order, you're writing the check. But when you go past that point and somebody else is writing the check and stamping your name on it, someone else is placing the order, then you really need to understand how to watch that money leave, and so you don't.
That's always when you do that P&L and you see the money go out and you're like, hey, I didn't write that check. Well, what happened there?
Little trick to reading the P&L is so. Cool report you can run. It's called a month to date,
Okay.
And so you run your P&L month to date. You compare that to last month, and you compare that to last year. So last year takes the seasonality out of it. Last month kind of shows you where you are relative. And if you always compare things to the past, you can catch trends. Like if my power bill was $2,000 last month and $3,000 this month, or $2,000 last year at this same time, and $3,000 now, there's a problem. Something's wrong. Right. And so you wouldn't be able to establish that by next year. Like, how do I know that my power bill wasn't $3,000? Am I going to go back through all the power bills and see?
No, please.
No, you got your books. And so those things, that's a quick way to use your books to help you understand. So that report right there is crucial. And if anybody has any questions on any of that stuff, feel free to drop us a message. I'm happy to talk back that, and we may could even do a show later on deep dive
Yeah.
into that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, if someone wants to jump into some good accounting, QuickBooks tips and stuff, I've got a couple of those too. But
Yeah,
I think the
absolutely.
technology and that software overall, is something that we want to just make sure that we give them as many different solutions and options. So people can now, hey, they watch the show and maybe go take 15 minutes and be like, hey, what are they talking about QuickBooks? Oh, it's $39 a month, but it does all of this, and that would really help me. And then that's a real tangible solution.
That's right. That's right. So the cost versus the reward there is insignificant. Like, I mean, it's the cost is minimal for the gain that you get, and pretty much any business is gonna that. Same way with scheduling software. I say that it's not definitive. Like, if you are just starting out and you have no business to manage, then I wouldn't say come invest every dollar you had into a scheduling software that's going to help you manage your schedule. Now, if you have, if you've established a small customer base and you're wanting to grow that customer base and you're wanting to automate some things, software is your guy.
Yeah. And so the software, right? It's the cloud, right? It's up here. Let's talk about with our hands, those tools, and the crazy amount of just tools and that have come out recently that have helped my business. I'm sure it's helped your business too.
Yes.
Do you got anything that comes to mind there for the tools?
Oh, and tools, absolutely. The first thing I go, the first thing I think of when I think of tools, and my buddies at Rupes are going to kick my butt, but I got to go with the paint gauge. The paint gauge has grown so much. It has come so far. Like, I remember the first paint gauges I got. First of all, they were super, super expensive. They were super unreliable. They weren't even measuring on different types of metal. I don't know if are you getting me okay? Are you hearing me? So
coming through a little bit, but I know, I got you.
Okay, paint gauge is big for me because they've come so far, and I got to give out to my buddy Sean at Next Diag. They hook us up. They take care of us with our paint gauges, and they will hook you up as well. He's a great guy. But the technology within these, I mean, literally they have an app now, and you can scan around a car. It's going to save those measurements in there. It's going to show you where to measure. We can upload it to our software, which is really cool. So lots of good stuff there. But that's the technology that we use every day. That, I mean, it'd be one of those things that I really hate to detail without right now.
Yeah, and I think, again, now I know dual actions have been around for a little bit, but I've kind of gone through the first generation Rupes. I'm going to give them the shout out. Second, third, fourth, and just that growth and evolution of their products, right? But the first one's still working, by the way. You know what I mean? Like, they just last. So I got to get we have a quality of the work. You don't have a 40-pound Milwaukee rotary tool anymore. I think that's saved us money, made us money. The dual action polish is the way.
And we talk about technology, right? Things are improving all along the way. These things are going so you don't want to get left behind. We all are creatures of habit. We don't some of us like change, but a lot of us, once you get in a routine, like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But technology is changing every day. Now, I'm not saying there was a stat. Let's see, what was it? I read an article the other day that was talking about during COVID, there was a huge spike in businesses, opening. So people were at home. They were thinking about the ways they could generate revenue by themselves. So you have this huge spike of business. Well, you also have a huge spike of software that was going to solve every problem that you could ever have. So people were just grabbing up software for everything, every little thing. And you could become distracted by technology. And I hate to isolate it to software, but in that instance, that's what it was. But technology can be a distraction if not done correctly. So making sure that you don't get left behind, but you understand how that technology, how spending that money on the new technology can, directly benefit you. Cost versus, what is it? What's our analysis?
What the cost versus gain there? Yeah.
Thank you. Cost versus gain. Yeah, I was struggling.
I gotcha. The one thing for me is, like, it's hard. Again, the weeks, the months, the years, they go by quick. So what I do is I usually have it. I put it in my Google Calendar, right? I run off Google Calendar. Shout out to more technology, right?
Me too. My Google Calendar is my life.
Yeah, I've got everything on there. So hopefully, you forget that password, you're in trouble. But I do a self audit. Right. When I go through that P&L, right, whether it's a gas bill, whether it's a POS bill, whatever, I do a self audit and say, hey, look, is there something better out there? Is there a cost savings? Is there something new? And I usually do that right around January. You know, I mean, that's the winter months up here. I've got a little extra free time. That's when I go to MTE, or I'm doing different things in January. But doing that self audit and just putting on your calendar, figure out what technology you have in your business, and is it solving all the needs, that are different from last year.
Well, technology boils down to like automation and how can we be more efficient without working as hard. And that's how technology evolves and grows, because everybody's trying to figure out how to do the thing that they need to do without doing it. All right. And so computers exist because people got tired of punching calculators, right? And
I still got my old school calculator. I like my old school calculator.
Oh, I have an ad machine right on my desk. I use it every day. Again, so some technology.
Hey, I'm stuck in my ways. I mean, I need a different type of technology better than the calculator. I haven't found one, but
I'll great. I use Excel quite a bit. I mean, I should have said, what, my biggest technology probably should have been Excel, because I'm a total spreadsheet guy. So look, let's think about another piece. What would be another technology that you would say would just rank up your top 5 of things that you use every day that you wouldn't want to get rid of?
No, I don't know if it's every day, but it's something new that I think is, I'm sure you've seen articles and AI. You know what I mean? What I mean? I've sort of gone down that rabbit hole with, a little bit of AI blog writing. And I think that's a really cool thing to enter the market, not just for detailing, for all businesses overall. I don't know. Have you experienced that a little bit?
It's so funny you said that. So
I took your topic, is what you're saying. I took it from you.
No, you didn't take it, because I know I downloaded it. I downloaded ChatGPT. It's called Genius or something, and I downloaded it like 2 weeks ago. And I've been playing with it, just running it through the mill, just like everybody else is, I'm sure. But look.
But for the people that don't know, right? I know we're going to jump down this rabbit hole, but maybe some people haven't heard of it. What ChatGPT is, it's an AI automated intelligence, right? Where you ask it a question, right? And you can do something as silly as write me a song for Splash, right? You need a theme song, or write me a blog article on ceramic coating. And it's going to go and write you a very detailed article that you would have been like blown away if I thought a person wrote it.
Mind-blowing, y'all. Mind-blowing. Like how well it writes. And then you could go in and edit it. It's going to say some things that you may have said differently, but man, it's a hell of a place to start. I mean, and I was lazy about one of my Facebook posts into a group that I run, and some of you guys are following it. Don't think that I've actually done this, but I was thinking today, I wanted to create a good post, and I'm like, I should use use the ChatGPT to just come up with this post for me. And so I typed in my question, and it just spits out this, and I'm like, holy shit. But I didn't do it because I felt like I kind of felt like a fraud, And it's my little private group that we have, and it's for fitness and health and my journey. And I know Billy Smith and Vandy are in there, and I didn't use it, guys, but I was like, man, how nice would that be?
Well, even like you said, for posts and for all, they can go and spit you out 50 different Facebook, Instagram, if on the marketing side, right, that's something that has grown exponentially over the last few years, but creating that content and being able to get your business out there, I don't know if it really falls completely under technology, that umbrella, but I think, technology is making it easier to create that content in so many ways.
Well, it is. Now, I have heard talking to my buddy Chris DiGiovanni. I was talking to him yesterday, and some of the things about using it is it may lower things like SEO score and stuff, because it does look when you copy something. I'm sorry, I just drew a blank again. My brain's right. Plagiarism. It does register as plagiarism. So you have to be careful.
Give them the shout out for Chris, right? Detailer's Roadmap. Let's give him the shout out while we're here. End of the show if he's watching.
He's my boy. Actually, I just talked to him. Me and him's been talking for a couple of years about rebuilding easyandDetail.com, and we just inked the deal on that yesterday. So shout out to my boy Chris at Detailer's Roadmap. Great guys.
A 2-hour call with him. I learned more there than I did, and you know what I mean. The guy's a super smart guy. Unfortunately, right? I'm going to put him on blast right here. We've got monthly car washes, right? So. Their websites don't offer anything in terms of sales, right? It's just content. It doesn't have any other sort of Shopify functionality on that side.
Yep.
Um,
His
but
technology needs to improve.
I know. That's what I told him. I told him that on the phone, and you watch him jump in here. Or you're gonna get a call. You're gonna get a call later.
I'll get a call. I'll get a call. All
You're
right,
like,
look,
listen, get Nick off of there. They just put us on blast.
dude. So we've totally missed the obvious piece of technology that we all have that we're not talking about, and this is one that's a given. This is a very obvious. This right here. Look at all those notifications. It's crazy. All right, this is the biggest piece of technology that we all have in our hands, easily at our disposal, to use to benefit your business. And you think about things like marketing and customer communication and sales, and it's and your software goes on there, and like, you know, it's all in one, and that is a huge piece of technology that has a huge impact on your business.
Yeah, you now have a cash register. You got, you know, a CRM. You got QuickBooks. You have your accountant in here. You've got your cash register. All these things that were, you know, all separated. It's all in one place now. So making sure that, you know, you obviously company phone and a personal phone is usually pretty important to differentiate between the two. But having photos. Yeah,
like your before and after.
I'm a terrible photographer, but thanks to this guy, you know what I mean? It comes out halfway decent now.
Yeah, I'm still a terrible photographer, but you know Chris makes me look good.
We get a segment next week. People are going to want to see some pictures that we take, right? Let's take some pictures and show them, hey, look, we're a couple of good photographers here of some cars we did or something. I don't know.
Let's do it.
So if we can do it, anybody can do it.
No, that's no doubt. Yeah, if you saw the shit that I came up with. No, man. You know, technology is all in all areas and aspects of our lives, and I think it's extremely important. We're just mentioning a few of these things that help us grow. And as a detailer, you know, you think, oh, I'm just a car washer. I just polish paint. That's all I want to do. But I can tell you right now, technology will impact your business, and if used correctly, it can benefit you and make you much more efficient and get to do the thing that you do love the most. If that's polish paint, then polish the hell out of paint. If that's let somebody else polish and you go on vacation, but it's still going to allow you to stay connected and run your business. So there's all kind of benefits.
Yeah, and I think, again, the one thing is don't get overwhelmed by it. You know what I mean? Go one at a time. That cost versus gain. What's it going to cost you? What are you gaining from it? And what I usually like to do is implement one thing. And you can have a list of 20 things you want to do, but make sure you implement it right. You know what I mean? So it does benefit your business, and don't get overwhelmed with the opportunity.
I'm so glad you said that too. So all of us are just expect like, so like when you bought your first polisher, you didn't grab it up and think that you were going to be a pro the moment you squeezed the trigger.
No,
you were cautious. You tried things. Yeah. You used it and then went to training and then used it some more and then burned some paint and figured it out. And then a couple years later, you're an expert polisher, right?
Yeah, that's the theory.
Software is no different. Okay, you don't just download the button or download the app or press the button, and now you're just some expert in software or some expert in this thing that's going to help you out. Yeah. You've got to use it, guys. You got to try it out. You got to mess it up. You got to press the wrong button. You got to get in there and learn it and ask for help.
Yep. And
let that then teach you to how to be an expert in the technology that you're using. So, you know, that's my suggestion.
That asking for help part, I think, is really important, because make sure that you're going to find that software, that website, whatever it is, where you do have those outlets for support, because every business is different and no software is going to be perfect for every business. So trying to figure out, hey, when I don't understand something or I need to do this, hey, are you on hold for 16 hours? You know what I mean? And getting somebody that doesn't know the answer, because then that's time. That's a lot of time wasted. And that's one of the key things I look into is like, hey, I need a dedicated person to reach if I'm going to be working with any type of software.
Yeah. You know, I mean, are you required to email questions in or whatnot? And, you know, that's something that's very valuable to us, and customer service is of high priority. So, you know what, look, I think there's technology all around, like I said earlier, and, you know, you have to embrace it. Just like you said, do it at your own pace. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't sign up for everything that's around that's available. Really do it decisive and give things a try and see if it can't help your business. I can tell you right now, as a, you know, entrepreneurs that own
little
small
drag racing going on over there, right?
businesses. The interstate's just right over here. Technology plays a big role in my life and in our businesses, and we embrace it. And like you, we self audit and how can we benefit? What do we need? What do we not need every year? And we keep that train kind of going.
And don't sign up for 20 free trials at the same time. You're not going to get the benefit out of it. Go through the free trial. Always, you can always cancel. Don't go and try everything. You won't be able to, but give everything an opportunity there to see if it works for you. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with how much is out there to help.
Yep, I agree. So look, that's it on technology, guys. It's that simple. Embrace it, learn how to use it, adapt with the times. Don't change everything all at once. Decisively go through it, do one thing at a time, learn it, give it a chance, mess it up, try it again, that kind of stuff, and keep rocking.
Sounds good. Awesome.
Yeah, great show this week. Appreciate you, Nick. Of course, guys, y'all can always find us on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook. Where else, Nick? I don't know where else they can find us.
They'll find us one way or another. They'll find us. You
right.
Look up play-by-play or detail bookie, you're going to find us one way or another.
That's right. Look, we got right here. We got
right.
Here.
That's the best way to end the show, I think.
I think it's great.
I'm excited for the fires next week. You know what I mean? Let's see what fires we put out, because I think that's going to help a lot of people.
If my staff is over there like challenging themselves on who can make the biggest fire, I'm gonna this will be the quickest booted segment. I've got Ethan laughing in the background like we're gonna burn the place down.
Yeah.
All right, man.
No
Great show. Appreciate you as always, and we'll see y'all guys next week.
Awesome. Appreciate you.